Hello, I am Brother Kelly Hughes, Chaplain of the Arts. We are broadcasting live to tape from the beautiful Valiant Theatre here in the heart of Winnipeg's Greasy Tenderloin. This is Kelly Hughes Live Slices Fringe Edition, which you get every year. We are airing on UMFM 101.5, all kind of throughout Fringe. Normally Saturdays at 1. We are also on YouTube from now until the sun swallows the earth. Thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate it. Thank you to my guests for stopping by. How you doing?
Good.
Great. We have got Marysia Trembecka.
Trembecka, yeah.
Trembecka. I'll get it.
You got Marysia right, which is great.
Yeah. Matt Harvey. Is that the right way to say that?
That's correct, yes.
And Mr. Loopy.
That's me. Thanks for having us here.
Thanks so much for coming by, guys, and cooling down a bit in here.
It's hot out there.
I'm
not built for it.
No. What are you built for? Because
being inside in the dark, I think, is what I'm built for. Yeah.
So what I want you to do when I just get everybody to tell me a little, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, why you exist, and then give the elevator pitch for your show. Mr. Loopy Pants?
Well, firstly, I don't know why I exist because I'm adopted, and so there's that.
Okay, fair enough.
But so my show is Mr. Loopy Pants, The Art of Fucking Up, and I should give you some background about how I got here. I used to do a show called J. William Is, and it was essentially me and an acoustic guitar, and I would play offensive songs and silly songs, and it's meant to be funny. And I would ask people to heckle me, and they would go boo, and I would yell back, and it was a lot of fun. I was the bad guy wrestler. After 20 years of that, I realized that the heckling was really getting to me. And you're just like, even if negativity is a joke, and I understand it's coming from a loving place, and my friends and fans are being like, "Yeah, you suck," it still got to me on like a base level. And so I sort of decided I need to stop that, and I've switched to with Mr. Loopy Pants, I've switched to toxic positivity. And so I get to be super cynical still, but I say stuff like, if you believe in yourself, you can do anything. Which is obviously not true, but it's fun to say, And this way no one knows I'm being cynical. And so my show is called The Art of Fucking Up, and it is essentially a TED Talk. It's an hour long, and I talk about why it's good to make mistakes and how they can be useful. And then I sort of intersperse a bunch of solo-based comedy loop rock songs, which is the main thing I do with Mr. Loopy Pants. It's a loop rock. I play electric bass, and I sing about balls and stuff, and so it's still essentially the same.
As one does.
As one does if one is me, absolutely, yeah. And so that's it, yeah.
Okay, that sounds good, Matt. Why are you here?
I am here in service of my good lady wife, over my shoulder there. So recently I was working in a retail job. I was working in a bicycle shop, selling bicycles to people, realizing that the general public are not very nice to retail workers a lot of the time. Yeah. So Penny said, I know, why don't you quit your job, come with me for a bit, and you can help me out, which is why I'm here. So my wife's show is Promise and Promiscuity. It's a new musical by Jane Austen and Penny Ashton. There is ball jokes in that as well.
That's great.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the fourth time this show has been in Winnipeg. So nice. I'm here flyering, lifting, carrying, soothing egos and things like that. Yeah.
Well, she must appreciate that.
I think she does, yes. Because she pays me like food and beer.
Oh, nice.
You
get food and beer?
I do, yeah.
That's awesome.
Basically, that's all you want.
Yeah. And, it's like Winnipeg during Fringe time. It's just such a lovely place to be. It's such a positive place.
It is, yeah. Especially if you've ever been here not during Fringe time. It's a lot better during Fringe time.
Yeah.
Great. Well, that's good, Marysia.
Well, I also had balls in my last show.
Oh, right on.
Bingo balls and other kind of
I meant like other balls. Basketball.
Sadly, well, I'll see if I can edge them in somehow. That kind of thing. Yeah. So Marysia, last year I was here with the Singing Psychic game show. It was my first Winnipeg Fringe, but that Singing Psychic character I've toured for like 10 years from 2015. Done like a load of Edinburghs. I took it to Australia. And then it was such a joy doing Canada last summer with the Singing Psychic game show. I kind of got inspired because I was playing Psychic Bingo. The Singing Psychic Bingo is one of the games, and I did very only Canadian artists with my bingo balls. And I realised that every time Celine Dion popped in, everyone automatically burst into Baby Baby and I Touch You Like This. So I went, oh, there's something here. So then I went away and have spent 7 months of my life researching Celine and Cher. I've read their memoirs, 1,000 articles, I've watched everything, also learned the songs, and then created a brand new show that is Celine and Cher Divine Divas, where we learn to celebrate life and learn lessons through the wisdom, songs, and also lives of Celine Dion and Cher. And it's sing-along chorus.
Oh, nice.
Because I decided I was not going to sing the actual, it's all coming back to me now.
And with some songs, it's going to be sing-along whether you want it to
Yeah,
be or
yeah,
not, right?
If I could turn back time.
Obviously, that's it there. Yeah. So I've got the lyrics all printed up. So they just because I like this idea, because the last show was super interactive, and this show, I thought let them all get involved.
Yeah,
so
why not?
It's uplifting and joyous, but it's new. I've just done it. I did 2 previews in London. I just did Toronto Fringe, which kind of sorted it out. But I'm still like, the first 5 minutes, I'm like, is it too little character? And is that the
You're
dance?
still in like the baby steps version of the show. Like...
Yeah, I mean, it's because I've got the Celine and Cher songs, of which there's over 1,000. And you've got a 60-minute show.
Yeah.
There's all the Celine and Cher facts and figures, which are amazing and fascinating, but you've got to cherry pick those, which have been done. I also wanted it to be funny. I didn't want it to, because some of their lives are quite dark. So how do you make that uplifting? And then of course, I've got the character. So my character is the oracle of Celine and Cher. So, and she's the sister of the singing psychic. So we also do readings of what the Celine or Cher song is in your heart, and they all leave with their own song for the month.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But you skipped the part about you.
Sorry.
Where are you based?
London. Camden, London, England.
What have you been doing theatre forever?
So 20 years ago, August 2006 was my first Edinburgh Fringe.
Yeah.
So I had a brief career as a kind of like a Wall Street trader, but in London for 5 years.
And Edinburgh Fringe, that's like 30 days in a row, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done 5 of those things.
Wow. That's on my list. That's on my list.
It's 4,000 shows now.
Yeah.
And so apart from the first time I did it, I now always take 2 shows and do 2 separate shows a day, different ones.
Yeah.
Often in a different venue, because it means you maximize, you can cross-sell the show, and also it just helps put some money in your bank account.
Stay busy, right?
Well, because I mean, people are often happy if they break even, right? Because you can lose money going.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
I know people have got bankrupt. And
accommodation is so expensive. Yeah.
And even the venues are a problem as well, because you have to get unless you go free fringe, which PBH free fringe is amazing. Unless you go free fringe, then you're taking money in a bucket, which is its own thing. Then the minute you get into an official venue, it's there's a massive minimum guarantee. Then they charge you tech. Then there's box office fees. Plus you've got to be in the fringe brochure is about, I can't remember, about 400 quid. So about $800. And then if you're in a big venue, they have their own brochure. And the Pleasance brochure is about £900, £1,000, like $2,000. So you can't really go with a show that's not absolutely. I've learned after the first one when I went, okay, you have to go in with work that's really on it.
That sounds terrible, but also I can think of way worse ways to go bankrupt.
I mean, it's every emotion you're ever going to feel is happening all at the same time.
Yeah.
Why do people want to do it? Then is it just the Everest of Fringe?
I don't know why. It's because
I know why I've done it. But I mean, because Penny's done it because Penny did it very successfully with Promise and Promiscuity, didn't she?
Yes, yeah. I think her idea was to hopefully get a couple of producers in to, or like theatres come in and say, oh yeah, we would like to put you on in our space somewhere in the UK, but it's a very difficult thing to do.
It's very rare.
Yeah.
And I say that having...
She got a couple out of it.
Right.
And then she's kind of made a tour from these 1 or 2, 3 theatres that did want to put her on. But it's just...
There's so many great shows. And it's about, for me, I go because the Singing Psychic is a character that super works. So I've gone there, and then I will take another one as well. which kind of goes for a slightly different demographic. But it's the joy. You can have one day off a week because you're doing like 6 shows a week.
Yeah.
And all that flying. And I mean, I don't really do it anymore. I'm taking a show that works and I'm not stressing. I am actually thinking about going back next year because I haven't done Edinburgh since 2018. I'm thinking next year I'm bringing this Celine and Cher. I'll take back Singing Psychic. And I just accept that I'm going to be just dumping a load of cash.
Why not? Yeah.
But then hopefully I've always made money.
Yeah.
But then my art director is my closest friend, makes amazing posters. He styles the look. So my marketing's incredible.
That's great.
Which, right?
Of course, yeah. That's like I'm really good at solo based comedy loop rock. I'm maybe the best ever, but also the only one. But I suck at marketing to the point where it's embarrassing. I'm just like, maybe one day someone will see and they'll be like, hey, I'm good at marketing and you're bad at it. I can help you. But until then, whatever.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks. I know. Yeah. I've decided I'm gonna do this for the rest of this is the purpose of my life either way. And if no one responds to it, I'm still gonna be doing it because I love it. I realize I've got my show I'm doing 11 shows in 12 days, and so I'm leaving my gear. I play a bass with 2 big pedal boards, loop pedal. I'm leaving my gear at the venue. And I'm realizing that when I get home, I feel lost without it. Like it's what I do to get my dopamine. And so I'll be watching a movie with my partner Crystal, and she'll fall asleep, and I'll like sneakily like boop, 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 go downstairs and start playing bass. Like, yeah.
Can you just tip your hat back just up a tiny bit?
There we go.
My mom was a theater director, and it's driving me crazy because
like,
you never, when you wear a hat on stage, you're not supposed to cover your eyes.
It's true.
The whole thing, it's a bit ingrained in me.
Can I ask? So I've got an electric bass, so I used to be a jazz bass player, and I have a synth attached to change the sound and a pickup. What are you doing kind of technically? I'm interested.
Okay, so I've got my loop pedal and I got my bass running through a distortion. I have a bass synth pedal, which is one of my favorites. It makes it sound like all these different synths. And then for solos, I have like an octave up pedal. And so a lot of times it doesn't sound like I'm playing a bass at all. I'll do like hair bands, how they have like harmonizing solos. I do really cheesy ones of those, and it sounds like a guitar. It doesn't sound like a bass. And then I use some delay and stuff like that, and have some voice modulation. But yeah,
cool. I'm definitely gonna come and check it out.
Yeah,
I
you should.
love
It's a lot of fun.
watching people play,
especially if you play bass, you'll love it. Like,
yeah, my bass playing isn't what it is. Actually, although my bass playing's better than my omnichord playing.
Well, there you go.
Shall I grab the omnichord?
Sure, yeah.
Just to show it. I don't
show it. Yeah, we can all give it a try.
If you can't see, if you're doing this by radio,
yeah. If this is on radio, Marysia is holding up a thing that looks like
a gun.
It looks like just the head of a guitar.
Yeah.
It's slightly phallic, apparently. I didn't see that.
I mean, you can sort of see the balls over there.
If your penis looks like that, I think you're going to need to see the doctor.
Yes, especially if it's that color.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a dark purple. You can't see it. Yeah.
If you're on the radio, Google Omnichord, Omnichord. This is what.
Not if you're driving.
Yeah. This is from the 80s. But I say in the show that it's been passed down from the centuries and it's haunted.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
has like a lute feel to it.
Yeah. Well, it is a bit. I've just strummed a couple of it. Hang on. So it's got lots of buttons you can randomly press for no good reason.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
So you can make lots of, but it's
got about you, but I'd quite like an ice cream right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I was going for. And then, but then it's got some like fun, like
dramatic effect.
Yes. So this is I don't need your sympathy. There's nothing you can say or do for me. So you can have quite a lot of fun. And it's got these really terrible drum loops from the 80s.
Oh, nice.
And they stopped making these in, I think, 92, and then restarted in like 2024. But for some reason, they've kept the terrible drum loops. I will play you a terrible
drum beats get better with time. They absolutely do.
Well,
I get why they kept
I can make one work. But
oh, that's amazing.
Bossa Nova.
There's nothing terrible about that.
No, that's it. That's this one.
But gotcha.
But then they get progressively worse.
That's amazing.
I haven't found a way to use that.
Like, I'm sure I heard that song in Ghostbusters.
If I had one of those, I would like use it just every day, soundtracking my life. So as I'm walking along the street, I would have that And then if there was a dramatic moment, if I'd said something exciting, I would give it a bit of a
Well,
just so people around me knew
Like
my
the
intent.
dissonant like soap opera chord, like
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
your brother. Yes,
yeah, well,
absolutely.
it does have some. Because the thing is, it's got 80s. I don't know if you see, it's got 80s cue card technology, so
Oh,
you can actually
nice.
add drum riffs in it. But
Ooh.
this is from the 80s. A
Is
friend
that
of mine-
like an 8-track or something? It looks like a cartridge.
Yeah,
hole.
it's like
That's
it's a
amazing.
cartridge hole. But I am thinking about. I borrowed this off a friend of mine. Because
Who's never getting it back, obviously.
no, because I might consider getting like the new one because I could actually use. But it's quite. I have when I started using it because in London I do a Tuesday night. I kind of run like a pub quiz, like
Oh,
I
cool.
sing a bit gig. And so when I was trying to work out what this is, I literally took it in, like you said, in between every question, I did a random. I sounded like a 70s pub landlord.
Yeah.
You know, because you can have so much fun because it's so and there are. Hang on. Extra to do. Let's get rid of that. So it's got some like.
That's awesome.
So depending if you can get it right, but anyway, it's quite it's a toy, and I think most Fringe artists we get fascinated.
Absolutely.
By things, right?
I once had a small keyboard that was a cat keyboard, and so it was just like a little piano, but it just made meow, 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 meow. And I lost it, and that is one of the few regrets I have in my life
There
is
we
losing
are.
that cat keyboard. It was great, you know.
I'd be one in here somewhere.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
a dig through after this. You'll be,
absolutely.
yeah.
That's
God will
fun,
help me find
Marysia. But I want to just Matt said something that made me think of something. You said you felt like an ice cream because it was making like the ice cream music.
Yeah.
And I saw an ice cream truck the other day, and I don't understand why the ice cream trucks still play like the creepy serial killer.
Absolutely.
Like,
it's been co-opted by horror. Why would they do that? Yeah.
I mean, and nobody's like, I'm staying away from that shit.
I mean, I am. I certainly would never. When you said that, I was like, I want ice cream too, but there's no way I'm running outside for that, man. That's got murder vibes.
I don't get that. I don't know how come they should be playing like EDM or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Something modern.
I spent time in Guadalajara, Mexico, and they have this awesome system where they have their gas delivered by trucks and their water delivered by trucks, and every different delivery has a different sound or a different song. And so people are like, oh, the water guy, they run out and get their water. And if you, in that neighborhood, if you miss the gas guy, you just don't have gas for a week. And so you have to catch them when they're there, yeah.
So when La Cucaracha plays, what do you get?
They didn't really play that one that much, yeah. Which, ironically or not ironically, fittingly, the place I was staying was full of them, and so I was doing my own little dance to no music. Yeah.
How do you feel about cockroaches?
So I was in Thailand, and I used to be terrified of them. It was one of my phobias. I couldn't deal with them, and we were taking a night train. It was my first night train experience. I was so excited, and so I get in my little cubby, and I pull up the covers, and then there is like a cockroach in the thing with me. And I knew that whether I wanted to be there or not, I was going to be there for like the next 8 hours. And so I actually decided that I wasn't going to be afraid of cockroaches anymore, and it worked. And I've tried it since with other stuff, and not at all. But that one time, like I'm indifferent to them now. Yeah.
There's a Fringe show in that.
Is that you?
I'm worried if I think about it too much, I'll go back to being scared of them, though. And that would be disastrous.
Have you warned Penny that you're going to start tearing your own Fringe shirt at the same time?
Well,
it makes sense.
Because in 2015 I did.
I know.
But
Danger Man,
yeah. See, some people still remember it.
I have a friend who had a band though with the same name.
Yeah. It was named after.
Don't worry, they're not litigious.
There was a TV show with Patrick McGowan.
Right.
It was in The Prisoner, and it was
it was called Danger Man. It was called Secret Agent Man somewhere and Danger Man somewhere else. They changed the name.
Yeah.
They changed the name when it came to. I think maybe Danger Man was the American name.
Maybe, yeah.
Anyway, so you did your show.
Yeah, but performing it, I'm not. I'm too fragile. I'm not starting. I'm too fragile to be a performer.
I hear you though. It's like there's a necessary amount of vulnerability that goes into performing shows like this, and when things don't go right, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, see, like looking back with 11 years distance, it was like it went really well.
Of course, yeah, but it's you. Like I have to actively. I have rejection sensitivity dysphoria. Is that what it's called? Yeah, big time. And so I'll have 30 people come up to me specifically and be like, that was awesome. That was the best thing ever. And one person either not paying attention or something, and that's all I focus on. And so I've had to like really convince myself and trick myself out of that. Because like Mr. Loopy Pants is the first thing I've ever really tried at, and so I'm like super pumped and super proud, but also extra vulnerable because like, you know, that's not trying was the way I protected myself. And so now that I'm giving 100%, I'm trying my hardest when things don't go well. It's so easy to just slip into being depressed for a month or whatever, but I have to keep reminding myself like, no. It doesn't matter if they don't like it. You like it. I love it. I'm super proud of it. And so like, it's fun.
Is this your first Fringe show?
It's my first Fringe show as Mr. Loopy Pants. Yeah, I did Jay Williams Fringe shows back in the day, but I called it in.
Yeah,
I called it in.
Like when was the last time you did it?
Maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I did one called The Ballad of Peter Cottonballs, and I was just dressed like a rabbit. And but I just played it was mainly just I played my Williams songs, and so there wasn't much to it. Whereas this one, I'm still playing songs that predate the show, but I've made a narrative that they all are relevant and fit, and it doesn't, it's not just like shoehorned in there. And then but half the show is like new. I do like a bit where I talk to myself from the future and stuff, and so it's very planned and scripted as opposed to just like, hey, you want to hear a song, you know?
Yeah, I think there's that thing about the balance between you've got to, I really saw it with writing this new show, first new show I've written since COVID. You have to have this incredible ego or hubris that this thing you're creating has value. Like because otherwise it's so hard to make a show, and the time and the focus and the so you have to have this almost blind ambition that you are going to be amazing, or it's going to be amazing, not you.
Yes. Yeah.
And then separately though, you also have to have the openness to be willing to take constructive criticism from those that you're like, maybe you're working with your consultants or your director, and then when you start getting on the road, then you obviously it's good to get feedback from I mean, I don't read my own press because I think when I'm on the road I kind of self-produce as well, so I literally get my mom to read my press and go to set, because I just like but it's when I'm in the road, I know, especially at this point in the show, I'm kind of, but it is always a balance of, and now I'm 20 years of being a cabaret artist, one would hope that everything's a better level, but that doesn't mean that sometimes people are not going to get the work.
Absolutely.
Right? But then the more you make your own work, the more some people should absolutely love it, and others are just going to go, it's not for me, and that's...
And my problem is I think I'm misrepresenting what people are thinking, but my first reaction if someone's not paying attention is they hate it. And that's why, when really, maybe they just didn't even notice, you know, and they're not trying to be a dick by talking through my show, but it's still like I'm internalizing it as like, oh, they're trying to wreck my show. And like, of course they're not, you know. But.
Yeah, I am. The first time I really figured out that people weren't thinking about me all the time and that everything wasn't directed at me was when I had a project that I did a number of years ago that cratered, and I had some guys working under the table for me, some Filipino construction workers. They'd come after work, and we were renovating this place, and they would come and work under the table, and I owed them about $6,000.
Yeah.
And I had just run out of money. I had to move out of my place on the last day of the month, and just was really bad. And I was worried all the time about these guys, because they were nice guys, and how I owed this money to these guys. And I finally got my hands on a bit of money, and about a year and a half later, and I texted one of them or called one of them or whatever, and he said, "Oh yeah, we're just doing a job over here in the West End. Let's meet at the McDonald's on Notre Dame." I said, "Okay." And so, Joseph and whatever the other guy's name was, they come, and they so and so manages this place now. He stopped doing construction work, and and blah blah blah, and they're like telling me all this stuff. I'm sitting there and I'm like, this money is sitting here in this envelope, and nobody's even looked at it. And I had literally I remember being in Young's food store on McPhillips in that time frame, and I was saw these Filipino guys, and I'm like, oh my God, what if these guys are in here? And they're like, where's my money? And I just literally just dropped my stuff and left. And so I was just so, and so then we're sitting there, and then finally, after he's told me about all these guys and what they were doing, I brought up the money and I said, here, it's all here. If you could give it to the guys, I'm really, really sorry. I'm sorry that it took so long. He was like, oh, that's okay. He said, I went by a couple times and I saw the door was locked. And I just figured, I thought, well, Kelly's good for it. He'll pay us when he can. And it was a year and a half later.
And meanwhile, you've suffered for that year
and
and
a
half.
They were not mad at me at all.
Yeah.
And also I realized because they're in construction and they do all these side jobs that in that time frame, like 5 other people had screwed them. So
yeah, that's sort of how
but nobody was,
works, right?
So none of them were sitting around thinking about me.
Yeah.
And
meanwhile, you're sitting there feeling horrible though.
Yeah. And so I try to remember that like people are just so wrapped up in their own shit. Absolutely. All the time. Yeah. That unless somebody's like super crazy or vindictive or whatever, like they're just not thinking about me. Yeah. And so
I think about you sometimes. So don't.
I thought about you.
In a bad way.
Not that like you owe me money or anything. Yeah.
I had that T-shirt and I wore it last year.
I had a group here the other day, and I was locking them out, and then I heard they were talking about me, and you never hear anybody. I mean, I never hear anybody talking about me. Yeah, so I was like, I wanted a cup to put against.
Yeah, you should leave a cup by the door. Just
and
yeah, we'll talk about you when we leave.
And I'm like, what are they saying about me? And one of them was saying, oh yeah, Kelly does this. Kelly does this every year. Yada yada. And, well, you just never know how it's going to go, but it's fun. So none of it was bad, but but it was just kind of funny to be, sort of a fly on the wall. But yeah,
and if they hear or see this, they'll know you were talking about.
Yeah, but it is funny to be in a sort of a vocation where you're putting yourself out there so much, and you're putting yourself up there for everyone to see and criticize, and yet be so needy. And I've always found it so ironic that the types of people who do the most vulnerable things, like performing and getting up on stage, are all the types of people who it's so hard on. Right? I'm not talking about you, Marysia. Just everybody else.
No, I had a 20 odd years ago when I was a jazz musician purely, and kind of now gone into the cabaret. I had the definitive experience of me not understanding. So I trained in loads of jazz, went to see this amazing British sax player. He had an orchestra and there was this incredible tune. And I had the arrogance to say afterwards, do you mind if I write some lyrics to this? Because it was just a sax piece. Yeah. And then a while later I was at a jazz school, which is the one that Cleo Lane had set up with her husband, John Dankworth, super famous jazz musicians of the day. Yeah. And anyway, he was teaching the saxophone. He said to me, Marysia, do you have these lyrics? We're not going to do it. And I was like, I vaguely remember them. And I get there, I had one rehearsal. There's like a 30-piece orchestra behind me.
Oh, wow.
And I'd sang, and we performed to a few hundred people. And I'd sang earlier and I was fine, but I got up in front of all these huge amount of people, and it's his song. So I really didn't want to mess it up. So I was like, oh my God. And I forgot how to breathe. And Jackie Dankworth, the daughter of Cleo Lane and John Dankworth, well, she was at the back going, breathe, because I was literally trembling, which is so, quite confident. I've got probably more confidence than I should really.
That's very important.
Right, yeah. But you can't really sing if you can't breathe. And as soon as I started, I started down the octave.
Because, oh no!
And then because he's an incredible sax player, instead of a middle 8, he had a middle 10.
Okay.
And I came in on the note for the middle 10, and heard like it was crashing behind me. Me and what was going on behind was an absolute nightmare. So I just flattened the note and just went, oh God, okay, here we go. Got to the end of it. A lady came up to me. I thought, that's the worst performance of my entire existence. Worse because it was Steve Waterman, this incredible trumpet player, not a sax player, trumpet player. And this woman came up to me crying. I was like, oh my God, that really was bad. and she's like, that was so emotional. I'm heartbroken at the moment, and you've touched my heart. And when your voice broke with pain, I was like, no, I just forgot how to sing. And then I listened back to it. And actually, it sounds pretty decent.
That's great. You're always your own worst critic, right? Especially in the moment.
Yeah, and in the bit where I was like, oh God, I've hit the wrong note, I hadn't. 3 of the 4 trombones had come in on the wrong note. So I was doing all kinds of mental gyrations. And at that point, when I'm thinking I'm doing the worst job in the world, someone's crying with the passion of my heart. I was like, okay, I have no right to tell the audience what to think. And I will never understand it. Just because they're silent doesn't mean they're not having a good time.
I have bombed pretty badly, but I've never bombed so badly that someone cried. And so even thinking about that is amazing.
But you know what? For most things, like the audience doesn't even notice when you fuck up. Like you're like, oh, I was supposed to do this, or I wanted to do this, and nobody notices and nobody cares. You know, they're. But I'm a bit like Matt. Like I find it like a lot to be on stage as myself. I mean, not as myself, as doing a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a ton of stuff as myself.
Yeah.
Which is different. But like having like a thing that you've prepared that's an hour long or whatever. And with the ADHD, sometimes I like have the out of body experience.
Yeah.
Where I'm like watching myself and my mouth is moving and I'm saying the words and I'm like, oh, this isn't good because I'm over here. What's happening over here?
I used to with my new Mr. Loopy Pants, it's so complicated. My ADHD made me make all of my songs have all the buttons do completely different things. It's so stupid. It's so convoluted. And just because of the way I got high and wrote the songs, whatever. But with my old stuff, I would do mushrooms before a show, and it was great. But I would have the moment of like, I'd be like, just like listening to myself tell the jokes and sing the songs, and I'd be like, I don't get this. This isn't funny. And people would laugh when they're supposed to laugh, and I'd be like, okay, well, I'm still doing the thing. Then right on, that's cool. But
I am often surprised with actually what you can actually think about when you're on stage.
Absolutely. Once you've got the muscle memory down, you can let that part of your brain take over, and the other part of your brain can like critique it while it's happening. It's nuts.
No, I tried to ignore the critique moment because having a what the hell was that note?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not helpful in the middle of the show, really.
What were your reviews like when you were here with Danger Man?
I got 4 stars in CBC and 3 in the Free Press.
Oh, nice.
The best review I got was when I did it in Edmonton the previous year. The guy who came to the show wrote his review as a poem, which was like so good. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, I was so pleased with that. Yeah, still didn't sell out, but hey, I'm over it now. I'm over it. I mean, this was kind of one in Edinburgh was a sort of a very sort of humbling moment that turned out to be one of the best moments. Is with the Free Fringe, as you say, it's like people don't buy tickets. People will come to your show and you ask for money at the end. So you don't know until the very moment you step on stage if there is going to be anyone there. And so for one show, there wasn't anyone there. So I was like, oh, this is not good. So I went to the bar. I was getting a drink, and the guy from the next show said, "What are you doing here?" So there's no one in. He went, "Right, come with me, bring your drink." We just sat down on the stage, just got the microphones, and just started chatting. And then these guys just came in, and they were, like, a comic poetry show. Unexpectedly, there was like 6 guys who work on oil rigs who were just in town for the weekend, just came and sat in. And so, my show went out the window. We just riffed with these guys, and it turned out to one of the best shows. Yeah. It was like so much fun. I was just buzzing so much. They didn't give me any money, but it's not all about money.
I've had, some of my best shows were shows where no one showed up at all. I had a show at Shannon's, the venue I'm playing at this year. And I played there. I did like weekly shows every Monday for like 7 years. I played there forever. And there was one Monday, no one showed up. And so the bartender and the waitress and I decided we just were going to lock the door and have a good old shut in or whatever. And so I played 3 sets standing at the bar in front of them. And after every song we'd do a shot, and it got so sloppy. It was the best night ever. And it like 0 people came to see the show. And like one of my favorite memories. It was great.
Well, and sometimes you don't remember the times, that were sort of successful, or the times where you actually made money. When I had my old venue, we were a Fringe venue in, I want to say like 2011 or something. And I had this great idea that I was going to do, because I used to do this live talk show, Kelly
Mm.
Hughes Live, and I was going to do Kelly Hughes Live Fringe of the Night. And like at midnight or whatever, we had like I did like the talk show. And one night, I had two guests, Martin Dockery and a really weird guy who did kind of a music show thing. His name was Brian or something. And nobody showed up. I had two staff there, and
That's crazy that no one showed up to watch Martin.
Yeah,
Dockery
yeah,
do
yeah.
well,
anything,
but
you know?
I fucked up the promotion,
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
were
yeah.
not right. We were not right in Fringe Central. We were over on Gary, and I think somebody's, I think maybe Martin's partner showed up or something, and we but we ended up like doing this weird thing where we were like, I had these chaise lounges, and we were lying on these chaise lounges on stage, and we were doing this weird thing, and everybody took their shirts off, and it just ended up being this like super weird thing
Yeah.
for nobody.
Why not?
That like I remember, because it was just so, and we had fun, and like, and Martin's a game timer. He's,
Oh yeah.
he didn't care. He's not like, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with that guy because I did a thing and nobody showed up.
Mhm.
And so yeah, but it was fun. And I mean, some of the most unsatisfying things I did were, do you remember the River Barge Festival?
Yeah, yeah.
And basically there was at the Forks, a River Barge Festival, that they just basically built a giant dock.
Yep.
It was not actually a river barge. And so I did I did two tweeners on like a Wednesday afternoon and a Thursday afternoon, my talk show, and there was like 400 people there or whatever, but I couldn't, because I was like out in the water. The closest person to me was like 50 feet away.
Yeah.
Somebody that I knew came, and it was a guy that I knew, and he was so far away I didn't know who it was until I got up to him.
They'd be intimate if it wasn't for all this water.
And then there's all these people up the slope
Oh my
of
goodness.
the thing that are just there because it's summer, and they're there, and they were not. I mean, they were my audience, but they were not there for me. They were like, who the fuck is this guy, and why is he here? And even if they were laughing, like, I wouldn't have been able to hear them anyway.
No,
it was just so far away.
Yeah.
So like because I mean, I got used to waiting for the laugh, because I knew where the laughs were going to come.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh well, either there's no laughs or I can't hear them. So
the delay across the
water.
All I can hear is fish.
The second day, I was just like, okay, I'm just going, boom, 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 boom. I'm just going to go all the way through, and if somebody wants to laugh, they can do it, whatever. But I'm not gonna wait for it. But it was the least, But then I've had shows like, where I've had 15 people, and they've just been like super dialed in, and they're like there for you, and they're like really there, like on purpose, and they're just giving you kind of this energy back, and that's just like, and they think every single one of your jokes is funny.
Yeah. One of the most important things I've learned about being a performer is that if you have 1,000 people or if you have 2 people, you have to treat both like you have 1,000 people. Like you have to just, and for me, like if I have a successful show, I had a super fun time. I made myself laugh a bunch. I made some people feel uncomfortable. If there's no one there, then I made myself feel uncomfortable. But at the end of every show, I'm covered in sweat, and I gave it 100% of what I could. And when you do that, if there are 5 people there, they love it. Yeah. They like it just as much.
And you can't disrespect the people that have.
Not at all. And the reason I learned that lesson, I went to see a friend's rap group, and I was one of 3 people, and they spent the entire show complaining that there was no one there. And I was like, but I'm here, and I'm the only one who can hear you, And so. Yeah, I am. When I started my radio show at CKUW, I don't know, 13 years ago or something, I guess, we didn't get our ratings because you have to pay for them, but I knew they were pretty low. And so I used to kind of joke that there were, probably just 9 people out there or whatever. Like, I used to make that joke all the time. And then the other thing I did was
I would bring, and this sort of goes back to what we were talking about before, I would bring attention to my mistakes. I would make a mistake and then I would talk about it. And so when I only ever had one, after a year I got my sort of performance review or whatever. I mean, I was just a volunteer, but I got my performance review. And those are basically the two things she said. She said, don't bring attention to your mistakes because people don't notice. And then if you talk about it, then it keeps going.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like, the people that have tuned in, don't talk about, don't say there's only 9 people out there because that's just, you don't want to disrespect your audience.
So I hard disagree about not pointing out your mistake.
Yeah,
your own mistakes.
I hard disagree.
But I have like a system in my show because it's so complicated. I screw up all the time, and at one point I pretend to screw up, and then I'm like, just so you guys know, I like it's cheating if I like continue to let you think I'm pretending to screw up. And so I have a little flag of honesty, and so every time I fuck up, I wave the little flag, and it is me pointing it out, but people love it. They're like, "Oh, you did it again!" It's great. You just have to turn it into a.
It has to be a bit. Well, it has to be a bit funny.
Yeah, of course.
So no, I mean, I still, would point out, and I would say, this is how the sausage is made, folks.
Yeah.
But with certain things like, you don't want to do that with every single.
No, and you don't want to do it in a way where you're down on yourself.
Or them. I think that's the difference.
Exactly.
You have to be like, I'm human, I messed up.
Yeah.
Because really, people come to see Fringe, and I guess listen to local radio because they want the human connection of you, right? They're here to see you, not.
Years ago, TJ Daw was doing one of his shows, and it was one of the ones that he had published, and he had skipped a section or something, and he couldn't figure out where he was, and he just stopped, and he said, "I don't know where I am. Does anybody have the book?" And somebody had the book. And he looked at the book and figured out what he'd done because he'd skipped.
That's amazing.
He just skipped a section and it didn't make sense. And everybody was like, people sort of like that.
Yeah.
Because then there's the human being.
In writing the show, The Art of Fucking Up, I did some research, and it turns out when you make mistakes, you become more relatable to people. Yeah. They like you more. As long as you're not making mistakes that like kill kids.
That's why people love you, Matt.
Matt, I just realized that over your shoulders, you've got on one side, you've got your wife, and on the other side, you've got me. And I'm trying to figure out who's the devil and who's the angel here.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of both involved. That's what it is. Yeah,
that's amazing.
This is that made me think of something I was thinking about before, Marysia, when you were talking about your you got people singing along with you, and I heard a thing on CBC Radio years ago where they hooked up machines or whatever to people's brains while they were singing together, and something happened.
Yeah, it's
I don't remember the science of it, but I remember.
Sorry, go on.
But they were talking about, in the context was they were talking about like, because one of the things that I do is I move pianos, and I moved over 300 pianos, and everybody used to have a piano, and back in the day, and people would sit around and they would sing the songs together. They would make music together, which we do kind of less now.
A lot less now.
And I'm wondering what you think. What do you think is the magic behind us, sharing this?
Community, I think. There's something about raised voices in song. We've done it for thousands of years. We probably sang before we had language, right?
Yeah.
Like high whistles, low whistles, warning, right?
Yeah.
There was definitely melody before there was words, I would argue. So I think it's in our human DNA to hear and go, oh, we're all singing nice. Because you can imagine if you're in a tribe, then birth of a child, some kind of like romantic celebration. I don't know if they did weddings, kind of pre-Romans, but you know what I'm saying. There's a sense of, and mourning as well. And of course in churches there's both uplifting songs, and of course you've got some like gospel choir, which you'll do. I've sang in dozens of choirs. I was in a 30-piece jazz a cappella choir. I've sang in 18 different languages at the Royal Festival Hall in London.
Wow. You're an angel.
So not. No one has ever accused me of that, Kelly. I can promise you that. My mother when I was 2. Even then not, I was a nightmare. So didn't stop talking, funny enough. So then I'm like, oh, I'll do a Fringe show. So you have to come and see me talk. So I think there's something about though that, because singing it's like a game show is all very interactive and people are getting on stage, and I wanted interactivity, But when you try and get into bigger spaces, it slows the show down if people are getting on and off stage. So I'm like, let us all sing together. And people cannot help but sing. I've got like power moves and phrases, the Celine Dion and Cher power moves and phrases. So I've got them all doing the all by myself fist bump, making sure that their fist is firmly clenched and it's not some like Elon Musk.
The Roman salute. Cool. Let's reframe some more Nazi crap. Yeah.
Because I was like, there's so much, those songs, Celine Dion and Cher's are iconic divas, and they've had the, and I just thought, what am I going to take out that we can all go? I've literally made it a life lesson. So every song has got the argument is, so the word parable comes from the ancient Greek word parabola, meaning to throw alongside. Aristotle, 330 to 360 BC, wrote a book called The Art of Rhetoric, in which he said, if you're trying to express a divine or moral truth, you need to throw alongside a human familiar story. So the premise of my show is that Celine Dion and Cher songs are parables that we should live by. So of course we're going to sing them. And then also we've got the power moves and the power phrases. So we've got the fist bump and all these exciting things. There's a bit of hieroglyphy going on. And but it was just quite a nice structure to go, what is a song? What is the power move or phrase that I can pin this journey of the character? And then you can see them getting really, so people love sing along, right?
I have a theory about why people don't sing communally as much as they used to, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think everyone used to go to churches, and it was much more part of structure, right? And there are a lot of choirs now in London. I don't know if it's like here, but you can go to like a gospel choir or a community rock choir. But there is a lack of, and there's obviously, I guess we've got karaoke now, but that's not choir. That's
that's not singing together.
No, well,
that's like some deluded person in a bar thinking they're gonna make it and just giving her, you know. I am bitter against karaoke because I always go and like do the songs funny, and people always get so mad at me. They're like, "You're wrecking it." I'm like, "You're wrecking it. Come on."
Yeah, unless when I like to do a duet, you're the one that I want. Because I've spent thousands of hours and thousands of pounds in this voice of mine, shocking though it might be when you hear me. So, you know, for me to then get up on that, of course I should, if I'm not like, you know, I sing every day. I'm not like Celine Dion who doesn't speak for 3 weeks because she's resting the voice.
Crazy,
yeah, I mean, the more I've done, she frightened me. The more research I did in Celine Dion, the more I was like, she really is a divine diva. Like she's so focused on this, the performance. It's incredible.
I'm scared by her too.
Yeah.
Have you been to Montreal?
Yes, I did Montreal Fringe first in 2008, and Penny, Matt's wife. Penny and I were there in Montreal Fringe 2008, and we've shared a billet. And then I took Singing Like a Game Show in 2024. It went so well. That's why I brought it back and did cast.
So Celine Dion's family has a series of a chain of like deli restaurants. I can't remember what it's called.
Celine.
It's called something else. And
Titanic Burger.
And no, it's like the Montreal smoked meat.
Oh, interesting.
And I kind of like, you know, do you all eat meat?
Yes.
Yeah. I kind of, you know, I like corned beef and smoked meat, whatever, as much as anybody else. But it's basically a piece of bread and then a giant pile of meat.
Absolutely, it's way too much.
And I sort of was like, oh no.
Unless you're like Schwartz's, it's not too much. It's delicious. They're really good one. But we went to like last time I was in Montreal with friends. We went to just like a cheap place on the side, and it was this massive thing of meat, but the meat wasn't that good, and so it's just like, I don't know, I'm gonna leave half of it here. And
speaking of fringes, what is there a fringe? I know that Hamilton fringe is happening right now, right?
I don't know. The only fringe I know about is Winnipeg. I'm going
what fringe is
across Canada next year.
What fringe? Somebody wanted to be interviewed today, and I said, well, I can get you in, or they wanted an interview a couple of days ago. I said, well, I can get you in Saturday. And he said, okay, well, thanks, but that's not going to do us any good because our last show is on Sunday. And I'm like, you're doing 5 days of fringe? Like I've heard of people, sometimes like people will come here late from somewhere else, like because there's always a little bit of overlap. Is Toronto before?
Yeah, I've just done Toronto.
So sometimes there's a little bit of overlap, and then they'll come.
But normally everyone moves every second Monday. So on this trip, and you can do Montreal. What's in between Montreal? Is it Ottawa? Then you can do Toronto. Move on the second Monday to Winnipeg. Move on the second Monday to Calgary or Saskatoon, which I'm doing Calgary this year. I did Saskatoon last year, and then you move again on the second Monday. Or you can move a bit earlier because Calgary and Saskatoon are shorter fringes to Edmonton. Yeah. So it's very like.
But some of them overlap.
Interesting. That seems
I
to
was
me
just
like an
wondering,
oversight. That seems
somebody
silly.
must be
Yeah.
starting another Fringe on Monday. I don't know. You don't know, eh? Thought that was
No.
odd.
Oh,
I don't know why you'd
yeah.
come and show up for 5 days.
Isn't Victoria's Fringe quite short?
I'm not sure.
I think
Yeah,
that's-
like,
that's
the only
after
Fringe I've ever.
Edmonton.
No, it is, but I think it's a short one before Vancouver.
Yeah. It's
So
Interesting.
How many are you doing this year?
4 again.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Matt, where are you guys taking it?
we are going to Calgary.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll
Yeah.
be chasing Calgary, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to Edmonton.
Are you going anywhere? Or are you staying here?
In terms of Fringes, I'm
Yeah.
staying here. I'm playing some just straight up music sets at festivals. I'm playing Rock in the Fields in Minnedosa. It's this country, or it's not country, classic rock festival.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like almost 50, and I'm like the young one at this festival. It's hilarious.
Are you doing the Loopy Pants thing at the?
Loopy bands, but not the Fringe show. Like,
No,
so the
but
Fringe
just-
show is like narrative and sort of
But
like
you could
it's
just
like a
take-
TED talk,
Right.
and that one just songs.
All
Yeah.
right, cool.
But I have like little theater bits that I incorporate into
Nice.
songs.
Yeah, yeah,
And mostly at the festivals, people don't like that, but I do. So,
yeah.
yeah, it's great.
Now,
did-
sorry, go ahead.
In Toronto Fringe, there was a like a little, where they do like a mix spot, and they did a kind of a drag night with some Fringe artists. And because I'm like apparently I'm like a biological queen, right? And I have all these characters with increasingly ridiculous outfits as I've gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I got there, and it was great. However, I realised there was 11 acts on. I was the only one who spoke. I spoke, sang, and played. None of the others spoke, sang, or played. They all did lip synced to a track. And
Oh, yeah.
some of these lip sync tracks were amazing. Like they'd obviously had them specially made, so
Yeah.
they were really interesting. It wasn't, but some people were just doing an incredible dance
Yeah, absolutely.
to a lip sync.
There's
So
in a drag show, there's so many places that the art can live.
Yeah,
Like it
but-
can be in the singing,
Yeah.
it can be in the dance, the
Yeah.
performance.
They were all separately 11. Well, 10 of the 11 of us were all. Everyone. They didn't speak a word. Well, apart from the host at the beginning, and there's me singing, speaking, and actually trying to make jokes. And when I was really out. I had to go. This is where I'm at. I could lip sync, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to change it right this minute.
I know the
Yeah.
It was
feeling
weird.
intimately.
Yeah.
Because I do music and comedy, but I don't fit in music or comedy, and so I'm always like the weird one where they're like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "Because there's nowhere else for me." And so yeah. It's great.
Matt, you live in New Zealand.
I do.
How long
yes.
have you lived there?
22 years.
And where are you from?
I'm from the UK originally, just outside Leeds. I'm a
Yeah.
Yorkshireman. But yeah.
Who else? Who is here? Is Eden Valentine from Leeds?
I have heard
think
so.
Eden
I don't think
Valentine,
I've
yeah.
met them yet, but
Oh.
yeah, someone's telling me there's. Yeah,
Is classic rock big in New Zealand?
yeah. It has a home. There.
It's super funny because I've gotten to this age where because if you turn on the radio, it's all classic rock
Yeah.
all the time. But it all just feels like it's classic. It just feels like regular music because I sort of remember when it came out, and it's not, you know what I mean?
My
It's
problem
still
with
on my
classic
shelf,
rock
it's
is like
not.
it should be evolving to be. So when classic rock was first a thing, it was music that was like 20 years old. Let's move it to be music that's 20 years old now and not still Aerosmith or whatever, Like it's just like classic rock was this thing, and it is like this immutable, unchanging group of songs that just will be there forever, and I hate them all. And I'm like, stop. That's why I'm playing a classic rock festival, I guess.
I really dislike the Beatles. I don't want to listen to the Beatles.
There's some songs that I like, but
No, fuck the Beatles.
Yeah, I'm
But-
seeing someone. No, thank you.
But but I sometimes my brother was 15 years older than me, and he kind of was in and out of the house. But he left his he had a big stereo, and he left some of his records. At some point when he left. So when I was young, I'd put on nobody gonna take my car. I'm gonna race it.
Yeah.
And I'm like 8, and I'm like
Like
this, and then other things make me think of when they had parties and stuff, and I was peeking around the corner, trying to
Yeah.
be part of the party, and it feels
was it like the film Dazed and Confused? Was it that kind of, yeah?
It
But I
just
mean,
feels
that's
very.
cool.
It just feels very. I mean, you get to a certain age, and things feel very nostalgic.
Well, and
and
that's
it's not-
so
The
a
Beatles
lot
are
of-
not nostalgic for me, but
No, well, like in a bad way, it seems
the
like.
Doobie
but,
Brothers and Billy
Yeah.
Joel and whatever.
I feel like
else.
there's this window when you're maturing as a person where the things you like during that window, you're always gonna like them,
Yeah.
And so I remember seeing from the 80s there was a news story about a singles night at the grocery store by where I live in Osborne Village. And they were interviewing people at the singles night. And I was like, wow, these people are all so old. And then I realized they weren't old. They were young, but they had mom style from now. And so the moms now just have the same style they had in high school. And so I'm looking at them thinking like, oh, they're so old. But it's like, no. They just seem old because they're wearing the same clothes that moms are wearing now, thinking they look cool, you know? And I love that.
One of the little ADHD things that I like to do is when I'm watching something, I try to guess how old people were when they're in it. And I was watching this 70s TV show called Moving On.
Okay.
And it's two truckers, and it's you remember Sheriff Lobo?
No.
What was that guy's name? You don't remember BJ and the Bear?
Sort of, but not really.
Anyway,
yeah.
I've dropped his name, but they did this show. Claude Akins. Akins was one of the guys, and there was another guy. And I'm always like, just when I would watch it, I would be like, I wonder how old that woman is. And I would always guess the age is wrong because everybody dressed
100%. You just assume they're
so
older,
frumpy,
right?
and now people try to dress younger.
It's like the Golden Girls. Apparently, we're all in their 50s.
Oh my god!
They were trying
to. The mom was the
but
youngest
still.
one, apparently.
Yeah,
Like
but
the old
still.
mom, like Sophia. Yeah.
But yeah, you look at it and you go, oh yes, and I understand they were trying to place it, but you are a bit like that. Was a bit in how the Golden
absolutely.
Girls. You're thinking they're like the title suggests 70s or 80s, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that we are all aging gracefully.
I think so too. Yeah.
Are you going to go see any shows, Marysia?
I'm going to see a load of shows. I saw Penny's and Matthew's Promise and Promiscuity yesterday. Fantastic. I'm definitely going to see your Mr. Loopy Pants.
Samers, yeah. I mean, yours, though, not mine. I'll obviously see mine.
Yeah.
Hopefully. No, tonight I'm playing with my eyes closed.
It's my birthday tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Luckily, she said, I've got no shows tomorrow or the day after, so I can have a drink.
That's great.
So I won't get on stage.
Same.
But if I... on the all mushrooms.
No, but I mean now it's so complicated. I do not drink before my shows until like I'm in your club now.
Yeah, I've always.
Do you find that afterwards, though, you can drink really quickly?
Well, I like to catch up. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah.
Not if I have a show the next day.
Okay.
I'm weirdly disciplined about it. It's the only time I'm this.
You have to be though. Especially with the singing show, like you have to be.
Yeah, the voice is the voice.
Yeah.
No, yeah. You just have to be aware that I'm not going to be in a bar yelling and screaming.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see what else. There's some shows that I'm definitely going to go on to Calgary and then Edmonton. So I've got a few shows that I will see them. But at the moment I'm trying to see the shows that are definitely here. I want to see Chase Paget, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But there's Afeni, the Sexy Panda. There's so much good work. Adam. Yeah, so she's lovely. I know Adam. But there's like a gazillion shows that I'm like, my list is long.
It's good. It's good to have a long
Matt,
list.
what do you want to see?
I'm going to see Martin Dockery tonight. I believe I've never seen a Martin Dockery show.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
That's just amazing.
I want to go see Tony Wrestles a Stranger.
Yes,
it's an excellent poster. I've told the guy that's one of the best posters, but
he's great.
The sort of the venues out in the French Quarter.
Right.
We're gonna have to go spend a day there.
Yeah.
Everybody who
there's
if they're out
there's a restaurant over there.
Yeah.
It's booze.
Yeah, I went there.
You can watch a Fringe show drunk. Right?
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah.
Mr. Loopy Pants?
My good friend John Bennett is in town doing a show called America, and it's one of the, I guess maybe his only show I haven't seen, and so I'm so excited. I'm off on Wednesday or Monday, and so I'm gonna go see that. There's a one man no show. I forget who does it, but that sounds amazing. And I'm just gonna. One of my favorite things about Fringe is you can just sort of like wander around and just like I don't have the frame of reference you guys do. I don't know many of the performers, but I love just like sort of taking a chance on something that looks cool and seeing what happens, you know?
Yeah. That's one of the great things is taking a chance.
Yeah.
I know that the reviews have started coming out now, but it's
and they're not giving stars this year. They're giving pubic lice or something.
I don't know what that
is.
Is it the more pubic lice?
That might be.
I'm not sure. It's like, is it golf rules? Is it, you know, like,
maybe you're just getting pubic
lice.
This may be.
Actually, I got a review.
Unrelated.
I got a review from the Free Press, and I wrote a review of the review, and I gave it more pubic lice than they gave me, but there were a couple minor issues, and I sent it to them, and I was like, hey, if you want to print this, it'd be so funny, and like radio silence.
Maybe they're
not how it works.
Maybe they're the cockroach's cousins.
Oh, could be, yeah.
We are out of time. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Lots more interviews coming your way. Thank you so much to my guests, Marysia, Trembecka, Matt, Harvey, Mr. Loopy Pants.
Kelly, thank you for all the support.
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
give performers during the
Appreciate it.
Fringe. Like, you're doing good work.
Yes.
I was gonna say
Yes.
God's work, and I'm an atheist. I'm like, that's disingenuous.
You
You're
know
doing
what?
good work.
Small G, small G.
Yeah, there
I'll
we go.
take it. I'll take it.
Absolutely.
And let's say the
Yes.
thing here as our
Yeah.
sign off. Okay. Okay, we ready?
Yep.
Art
Art
will
will
save us
all.
all. Thank you.